and a couple other things here in the city. Thanks for being in studio. I'm glad we made the connection. The forces were against us, and we made it. So
I appreciate you having me here.
absolutely. Like I said, I got to be in the space a few weeks ago. It's beautiful. Did a
Thank
great
you.
job on it. The food is amazing. The drink is amazing. You guys are just doing a great thing. And I just wanted to simply get people to know about it and drive them your way because you deserve it and you need to be visited. So
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's been a fun adventure getting the new location up and running.
for sure.
And like you just made the joke about found some parking, way more parking, nearly as small of a building, less weight,
Yes.
food comes out faster. It was a good move. You know, we
Yep.
missed the charm of the old building, but you know, when you got 2-hour waits on the weekend and you can knock those down to 30-minute waits,
Right.
I mean, why wouldn't you?
Huge
You know,
difference.
I can make another place look charming as well. But you
Right.
can't get back all those people that leave you for 2-hour waits, which I don't blame them.
Right.
Yeah, anything over 30, I'm not waiting.
Sure. No,
So-
no, for sure. No, and I was trying to think back to the last time I was at the old Prep and Pastry, and two very different feels. I would agree.
Mhm.
One was a little bit more kind of, and correct my adjectives. I'm going to give you my perception and tell me what you wanted people to think. But
Yeah.
kind of a little more darker, homier, a little bit more warmth
Yeah.
in terms of the colors and the design.
Yeah.
And the new location, and I'll let you tell our listeners where that new location is in a minute, is brighter, kind of. It's a little more open, a lot more windows,
Yeah.
kind of more of a modern theme to it.
Yeah, you're 100% correct on the older one. You know, you can't find a building with high-pitched ceilings anymore that are made out, you know, wood palleted ceilings or wood plank, whatever. And you know, when I first opened that spot, it was my brother's father-in-law and myself, really just in there every day building everything, finding pieces of wood on the side of the street and, you know, cleaning them, finishing them and making them into our bar. Our whole bar was made out of pallets. It's just, you know, you can't get that touch, you know, and honestly, as we grow Prep and Pastry, we didn't want it with like chalkboard walls and stuff like that. It's, you know, chalkboard walls, chalkboard paint was cheap. And I had no money, so you know, it was like, all right, here's chalkboard paint, and we had one of our servers, you know, do a bunch of logos and sayings up there. And if you look around the whole market now, everybody has chalkboard walls, sayings on their walls, things like that, and that's just not what we're about anymore. That's not what we want to be about. And the new space is brighter, cleaner, fresher, you know, trendy tile on the walls, so
Right.
all those photos get taken, and
Right.
and you know, past that, it's just we want to be. If we do another one, which we'd love to do another one, not anytime soon, right now, like right now, but we have plans. We just don't want it to be, you know, chalkboard walls and everything. You can't repeat that original location look. So
Sure.
now they're all lining up to look the same, which makes
Sure.
me happy.
For sure.
You know, so I don't have to tell everyone, oh no, it doesn't feel like the first one, you know. But I don't know. I still think it feels. I actually like the new one better than the old one.
Yeah.
Sounds weird, but you know.
No, I mean, that was my impression going in. There was
Yeah.
nothing about my first visit that I went, man, I missed the old one. I mean, I was all into the experience. And I'm not just
Yeah.
saying that because it makes good radio and it sounds good and you're sitting in front of me. Like,
Yeah.
I came in, I went, this is amazing. I don't miss the old spot.
Yeah.
And there's like nothing missing from the old spot. Speaking of which, just so our listeners have, you know, I'm sure many of our listeners have gone to the old spot. Your old
Mhm.
spot was?
It was at 3073 North Campbell, and
Yeah.
we moved up the streets, just, I don't know, call it a half a mile north or
Okay.
south, I'm sorry, next to where the old Casa Valencia was, 2660 North Campbell Avenue. We're literally like 2 buildings north of Blue Willow. Like,
Yeah.
we're right next to our buddies right there. I mean,
Cool.
they're the staple in town when it came to breakfast, and we're right there. We're right there in that same kind of like strip area, which is great because it creates a lot of fun synergy right there.
Mhm. Super cool.
With Plaza Liquors, you know, the salon next. So it's really fun right now. Yeah.
Super cool. Yeah, and but I want to make sure I get this right. You're not letting go of the old building. It's kind of repurposing for your business, right?
Yeah. Right now we buy a lot of, we bake a lot of stuff in-house. We make all our English muffins in-house, our brioche bread in-house, all the French, we make tons of stuff in-house, all our croissants, blah, 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 blah. But there's a couple of items we can never bake in-house because we just were too busy and our spot was so small. We're so limited in space. Our white bread, our wheat bread, our baguette rolls, all kinds of things. And we're actually going to turn that into our own little bakery, market, sandwich spots.
Okay.
So imagine, I don't know, we're dropping other companies' names, but like Beyond Bread, done our way.
Yeah.
We're just a little, I don't know, you can say like trendier. Beyond Bread's is such a staple as well, just kind of like Blue Willow is, and we want to do what they've done so great for so long, but our style, our way.
Right.
So that's what we're going to do. We're not going to be open. It's going to be open from 11 to 4. We might expand to the mornings if it takes off doing well, but if it doesn't, it doesn't matter, because at least we have some time to bake all our bread for our whole company.
For sure.
Yeah.
Super cool. We were talking about that as much as you love the food part of your business, you love the entrepreneurial part of your business. Even though times like this, you're hustling hard and you're probably looking to your next, pause point.
Yeah.
But how did you get into this business? And can you tell us that journey and then also some of the other initiatives you have going on in Tucson?
Honestly, it was I got started in the business under the Sam Fox Group. I name drop Regan Jasper. He's my favorite restaurateur. He's the partner with Sam. He is the best restaurateur in Arizona, hands down, no questions asked. Like Sam gets all the credit, but he does all the work. If someone knows them, they say, oh, Regan's the guy. Like he runs shop. And I started under them. I left with the gentleman that was their GM at North. Went with him and started opening restaurants for that gentleman. And he had Abby, Jack's, Geo Taco, Poppy. Things kind of happened, and he said they started closing up some their locations. I just kind of looked around. I was like, why am I doing this for other people? And I wrote my business plan. The Abbey up on Sunrise and Kolb, which is now Comner and Company, my dinner spot.
Your dinner spot.
Yeah. I was up there one morning. I started the brunch, and it won like best brunch. It won like best Bloody Mary, and I got zero credit for it. And I was like, enough's enough. Like, why am I doing this for other people? I helped some other restaurants in town that I won't say their names, but I really like kind of created those restaurants and built them up and got them rocking spots. And I was like, I'm just so tired of getting, it's not really the credit. It was just like I see all these owners kind of jet setting off or taking vacations when they wanted to, and I was just grinding 60, 70 a week, which, they deserved it. They're the ones who took the chance.
No doubt, sure.
And
which I'm sure, you see on this side of things.
Yeah.
Is when you take that chance,
yeah,
you deserve the rewards because you hold the bag.
Yeah, I mean, I think my vacations will hopefully start in the next year or two, but I kind of started off a rougher route than most people. My fundraising was different, and so, but I won a spot I was consulting for, air quotes, consulting for Amelia Gray's, where Prep and Pastry was located. I saw it. I walked in and I said, after doing the Abbey's brunch and all that, I said, man, there needs to be a brunch house in town. That's like the thing. This is 7 years ago. And no one does brunch like amazing other than like Cup Cafe, like, but I'm saying like focusing on brunch like it was a dinner spots.
Wow.
And
really, there was a hole in the market 7 years ago. That's amazing.
No, get like, you got Guineas, you got Blue Willow, you had the Cup Cafe really crushing it, but name a spot that was actually like focused on 2-minute bite checks, things like that. Like, our service standards are through the roof. We don't mess around. Like if we mess up, we're the first ones to raise our hand. Like there's nothing like that. There was no like, snoozes coming to town, and they were like the big ones from Denver.
Right. They're going to be on Grant, kind of right across from Culinary
Yeah,
Dropout.
we moved. That's why we moved right down the street. We just wanted to welcome with open arms, Hey guys, you want to be close to U of A? We'll get even closer.
You're
so
a smart
come on
guy.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was no one doing like that. You had some spots in Phoenix doing it, but really, no one was focusing on. It's just that breakfast only and knocking it out of the park. Please, if I'm missing one, call me up and text me or whatever. But
790-2040 is
yeah.
your live line number.
And I will argue that to the day I die, because Blue Willow, Guineas, Cup Cafe, they were all serving dinner. They weren't focusing on just 7 a.m. to 2
Gotcha.
p.m.
And that's the
3
difference.
p.m.
You're not saying that there wasn't brunch, just that
Yeah.
there wasn't a place that was
Only
all
did it.
in
Yes.
on brunch.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
No one went out and got a named chef. This
Right.
nighttime. Kyle Nottingham's Miraval. How many celebrities flew out to Miraval just to eat Kyle Nottingham's food? Kyle thought I was nuts when I called him, and I was like, "No, man. They're like, this is what we do. Let's just go do this."
And you were right.
And he's like, and he just knocks it out of the park all the time. It's just, farm raised eggs, basil smashed avocado toast, he shashukas, like things that you like that are pretty hard techniques to make. And, so he's just, I don't know. He's just, no one was doing it,
Sure.
my opinion.
So 7 years ago, you put in
Yeah.
Prep and Pastry.
Put in Prep and Pastry. I cold call, I believe, gentlemen, a lot of the gentlemen that were my investors, a cold call, and I'll drop this one name, Derek Polder of Summit Funding.
Good man. We used to work in the same business complex together.
Oh, really?
And yeah, we met that way, and just met his brother the other night, and
Yeah.
then Isaac Figueroa
Yeah,
and
Isaac,
I were at the opening, and they go way back. So it's a Tucson.
Yeah.
They're kind of a Tucson story, that family. But
And a lot of people don't know Derek's my favorite. Derek and Kay Watanabe are my two favorite,
okay, yeah.
and actually I'll throw in KMS, like those guys, like all those guys just grinded to get like where they're at, and I just love it.
Mhm.
I mean, I just love
Worked
watching
with Kay.
it.
So I worked with Kay and Derek in the
Yeah.
same business complex for about a year over at the Synergy Plaza.
Yeah.
So that's where I met both of them, and then
Yeah.
now we just kind of connect and run into each other. So
Those stories. I mean,
Yeah.
Derek was from Naylor, and he I went to Naylor Middle School, which is a pretty rough school in Tucson. And then I transferred over to Palo Verde, and Derek was like literally giving me advice to like not get beat up every day. I was like thrown to the wolf pack there. I moved here from like Alaska to North Dakota, then to here, and I was just like, oh my gosh, what's happening here? And Derek's just like, yeah. So, anyways, we go way back, and I cold called him one day and just said, listen, I know you invested into a restaurant. I'm looking to do my own thing. Can I get, what are you thinking? He's like, all right, you can pitch I have an investment group. Why don't you pitch us? And I
Wow.
walked in there, and my pitch wasn't the world's greatest pitch, but I cooked a lot of good food. I showed up with a lot of good food, and I ran my numbers down. And after they just said, this is a terrible idea to invest into this. They're like, if we do, it's because of you, like your
Whoa.
energy and blah, blah, blah. And, I mean, there were some big names from Tucson in that room.
They were like, terrible idea, but
that
it's
ripped
Nate
it apart
Aries.
still too, though.
It's Nate Aries
Yeah.
of what would be known as Prep and Pastries. So they believed in you.
Well, yeah, they kind of just they when I left, I asked for I don't, let's play. Actually, now play with smaller round numbers. I asked for $5 a share,
Sure.
and they called me up. They Shark Tanked me. I tell everyone, man, I got Shark Tanked real bad because they called me up and said, all right, you need us. You don't have money raised, so we'll give you $2 a share. And I just said, dang, I got to go back and readjust my assumption sheets. And I'm not good at assumption sheets yet. I don't even know how to run P&Ls yet. I don't even know how to do my food costs really that good yet. I was always under people that were kind of running those things.
Yeah.
So I had to go adjust. So long story short, I raised a very small amount of money. And let's just say that my design budget went from, I think I spec'd out like 20 grand. It went from 20 grand to 10 grand. And my sign cost me $7,000. So I had $3,000 to design all Prep and Pastry. So I was running through the alleyways, finding pieces of wood, and built everything in there. And that's how we got started. It was fun though. It was, I would never take it back. My car got repoed. I got kicked out of my condo, and I lived in prep and pastry until health department kicked me
No
out. Yeah,
way.
true story. All my crew knows this, but I was taking showers in there, and health
No.
department.
So that's
I
not
won't.
cool.
I won't. They just. I don't know what this is, but we're gonna ignore it because you don't have. It was the mop. I had two mop sink areas, so technically it was. It was. I'm probably gonna get in trouble with health department now. They're gonna be like, "What you do?" Yeah, I was taking showers in there. My mom would drop off my clothes every
No
like 3-4 days.
way.
Yeah, true. It's serious. Living in there, and like I think like 6 months later, finally, the health department kicked me out, and then that's when my now wife, like, she actually asked me out, which because I couldn't ask her out because I had no money or anything, and I had to go. Like,
You're like, hey, honey, do you want to go on a date to Prep and Pastry?
No, I actually,
I know a nice place.
yeah, I actually sold shares of my personal stake into prep to my brother just to bring her
No
out,
way.
so I could go rent a house, so she wouldn't find out I was living with my mother at the age of 30, or inside the restaurant,
That's
So,
incredible.
it's funny. So that's how we got started. But everyone's got a fun story. But that's how we got started. Like me and my crew were
Wow.
in there. And I'm talking about the bakers would wake us up in the morning sometimes and start the coffee. So I would just wake up like a zombie at 2 a.m., start rolling dough and just go. We opened with nothing. So
That's amazing.
it was a fun run. It was a fun
Man.
run. So
Man. So real quick before we spin away to a
Yeah.
break, that's an amazing story. Then Prep and Pastry got going.
yeah,
And you mentioned Commoner and Co.
yeah,
I got that the name of the restaurant right.
Yes,
Right?
yeah.
And those are your main concepts, kind of in Tucson that have
Yeah.
been rolling since then.
yeah. We popped on Commoner way too fast. The landlords knew me from running it, so
Okay.
long story short, they just said, "Why don't you take it?" So I did. I probably should have waited. Looking back now it's going great, and we're in a full remodel this summer because
Mhm.
it's been going very well. But I probably should have waited. I thought I was, in the land of Sam Fox. Everyone wants to be the next Sam Fox, and you see Tucson restaurateurs just crumble because they want to go, 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 go.
Yeah.
And they got in my head, but now it's going great. It was a little rough first 3 years.
Nate Aries of Prep and Pastry, amazing story. When we come back from the break, let's talk about the new Prep and Pastry location, and then we've got some great foodies on this station, and so I wanna do kind of our own style here of a Creative City Show interview with Nate Aries, talking about the entrepreneurial landscape that's been for you here in Tucson. And when it comes to food and to entrepreneurship, what do you see in the city? Where do we go from here? What excites you, and what are the challenges all around promoting the heck out of Prep and Pastry? We want to send people to you guys. And if you were listening to that entrepreneurial journey, when you show up and have brunch or you have dinner at one of your places, you are supporting a local Tucsonan who made it, struggled through it, got it, and won with the help of other Tucsonans. I feel like you're eating and drinking a story, not just at a restaurant, is really how I feel after just these first 20 minutes with you. So that's what we want to do, is send people your way.
Well, thank you.
Man, I love the story. Let's go and visit some sponsors. When we come back, that's what we'll get into with Nate Aries of Prep and Pastry and Commoner and Co. And I'm sure much more in Tucson over the years. We'll be right back. Tucson, 1030 The Voice, trusted local news and talk. Tucson, welcome back to the show in part 2 of my interview with Nate Aries from Prep and Pastry, which is the main reason we're talking, but also Commoner and Co. If you've been to that restaurant, this is the gentleman behind it. Amazing startup story, amazing entrepreneurial journey. If you're just joining us, Nate was working for some of the top restaurants and restaurateurs in Tucson, and was making their dream happen. And he said, well, what about me and my dream? I can do this for me too. And stepped away and got into it. But it wasn't all easy. It wasn't all straightforward, but you hustled and grind. And was he ground? You ground through it?
Something.
What's
I
the
don't even
past
know
tense
what-
of grind?
Yeah,
you
we'll go
ground. You
ground.
ground through it. We both like coffee. We can do that. And ground through it. And now it's still not always easy, but it's moving. And I would say you have a large degree of success now as momentum behind you. And we really wanted to have Nate on the show to really promote the new spot that opened up on Campbell, right by Blue Willow.
Yeah.
And that's Campbell and Glen area, right? Or
Yeah,
is
just
is
south of Glen.
just
Yeah.
south of Glen? And want to promote that, but wanted to talk about just your timeline, your history in the city, and what you're up to. So tell us about the new location. Tell us a little bit about the menu, what someone can expect when they come in. Kind of share that experience with us.
Well, the new location, the 2660 North Campbell, and the menu is really, with Kyle Nottingham as our partner chef.
Okay.
He really controls that whole realm. It's just up. I won't even say upscale, because when you think upscale, you think expensive, but we're actually right in line with all the mom and pop places for the most part.
Absolutely.
I mean, our simple breakfast is what, $6.50. I mean, that's so instead of like if you went to a normal breakfast restaurant, you would get some shaved potato hash brown. Ours is triple blanched potatoes smashed, flash crisp, tossed with a fiend herb mixture of rosemary, thyme, some parsley, like just our own little kind of fiend herb take, with a house-made strawberry jam and local baked wheat bread or white bread, whatever you choose. So we just kind of elevate the normal breakfast, shashuka, which is a kind of like almost think of like a stew, Mediterranean stew of like tomato-based stew is the kind of way you can almost describe it. We have fun items like a poutine, but instead of using we use duck fat gravy with the French fries and the cheese curds and pork belly in there. So, and our pork belly is all comes in uncured, and we cure it in house, and then we roast it for 2 hours in orange juice, apple cider, all kinds of herbs. Like we just take a American cuisine breakfast up another notch.
Amazing.
So, all the bread's baked in house every morning for the French toast. So things like that.
You were talking about your simple breakfast, but even your non-simple, straightforward breakfast, I think like you have a duck dish.
The duck confit.
Which is what, 13, 14?
It's 13.50.
Okay,
I think.
so right in between. Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm trying to make the point that it's not like a $25 dish, $3 dish. It's still
and it's a true confit. It's a we cheated also. I shouldn't say true. It's 24 hours cooked. Confit means something cooked in its own fat or juices. That's the fancy way of breaking it down. And we confit duck bone on, and we confit it for 18 hours. So we're not 24 hours, but I mean, we don't need to be doing a 24-hour hit on that thing. We got bakers that need to get in those ovens. So we do a true, like for the most part, true confit, and pull the duck, and it's cooked with Cabernet braised cherries, with some shallots, the prep potatoes, sautéed spinach, and a cherry, kind of like a goat cheese herbed, or goat cheese cherry Cabernet mousse on top with 2 farm eggs. So,
Man,
yeah.
Amazing. Did you change the menu up a little bit in the move as you created?
No, we didn't want to change it until after the move.
Okay, that's smart.
We don't like announcing that we're open. We don't like announcing or we don't like doing menu changes during those type of times, because we really pride ourselves on trying to keep things, I guess you can say, like, most people say, hey, we're open, come see us. It's like, oh my gosh, all of a sudden all of Tucson's at your front door, and you're like, oh, this is going great, but you're not giving the best service. You're not doing the best. So we don't want to change the menu, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, we're messing up on dishes we just started new. So we're actually changing in like 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, we wanted to get a month.
Absolutely.
In the new spots.
Absolutely.
Before we do that stuff.
Are you keeping it all under wraps, or is there like one change you'd be down to kind of?
There's so we always change our toast. With U of A coming back, it's no secret that all the sorority houses love avocado toast. So we have.
So the stereotype is real then.
Yeah,
okay.
I guess.
All right.
It photographs pretty and everything.
It's Gen Z, by the way.
Yes,
right?
it is.
Gen
yes.
Z is now in college. You can't just say millennials like
Yes.
avocado toast. It's now Gen Z. It's a sorority thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Go easy on us.
I'm not gonna lie. I crush that avocado toast on like
man.
weekly. It's a basil smashed avocado with shallots, garlic, some other herbs in there. And we do heirloom tomatoes over a house baked sourdough bread, and a poached egg, and olive oil, salt, pepper. I mean, the thing's just to die for, and like some watercress tossed in olive oil spread across. Like it's so good, and it photographs great. It sounds weird, but nowadays everyone lives in their phone.
True. Yeah.
So I'm kind of weird. I don't have Instagram. I don't have Facebook page, which is really weird, I feel like. And Instagram, I actually am not on it Monday through Friday. I actually deleted off my phone.
Wow.
Because if I can sit there and yell at my team about labor, and I'm not yelling at my team, but speak loudly about a subject I'm passionate about, like labor, if I'm sitting there yelling about labor, and then all of a sudden I leave the restaurant and go in my car and look through Instagram, it's kind of like, oh, who am I?
It's like a double standard.
Exactly. So
Okay.
I take it off my phone. So I download on the weekends, like when my wife and I are just kind of relaxing, when the little one's taking her nap, and I'll scroll through and check on the restaurant, see how they're doing. But
Yeah.
so everyone lives in their phones now. That
Sure.
you got to make sure that photo looks good. So everything's got to photograph great nowadays.
Yeah.
Which
It's
is-
almost like as a restaurant, you're in charge of your own magazine
You are.
through social media.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was scrolling through your social media before this interview,
Mhm.
and I see you guys doing that. So props, and just, I mean, even the way you design your interior now
Oh, it's
is designed around how well will this shoot on Instagram. It's crazy.
you have to.
You have to.
Yeah, like we're taking all those little signs down at the Prep 2 location, the Grant location. We got a location right next to Zimburger and Sauce, right across from that Costco on the Grant in
Okay.
Tinker Verde area.
Yeah.
And we're throwing all that new trendy tile up and things like that pretty soon. We actually enclosed the big window that faced the kitchen, and put a bunch of shelving up there with greenery falling off of the shelves, and it's just you got to think about those things now,
Yeah.
and how can you get people to take photos of your location without having your logo and stuff in it? You want people to
Right.
take photos naturally and help them make it look good, without like signs and stuff. And people are like, oh man, they're at Prep. They know they're at Prep, and
Right.
kind of like that tile out front of Prep, that trendy tile that everyone takes a photo in front of. You got to think about that stuff nowadays.
Yeah.
And to think about that stuff, you got to hire. My I got a crew of younger, they're young little entrepreneur girls that are like, Shannon, I think, is 26 or something. So she kind of tells me what's in and what's not in, and
Yeah.
she's got my sounding board. She controls my social media.
Okay.
And, I was going to buy some chairs, and she said, no, that's not going to photograph well. It's sad. You got to think about all that stuff, but it pays off. It's free marketing.
It does pay off.
If you have a good looking spot that people take photos at, you'll get more traffic off of that than any ad would ever do for you.
Right.
Any ad. So
For sure. We're talking to Nate Aries of Prep and Pastry and Commoner and Co. And our highlight by far though today is Prep and Pastry, the new location at 2660 North Campbell Avenue, where the old it was the Casa Valencia.
it was Casa Valencia.
Used to be there, and right next to Blue Willow.
Yep.
And so many of our listeners will know exactly where this is. Go and check these guys out. Now, tell me, as an entrepreneur, and you're as passionate about the entrepreneurial side of what you do as you are the food side, which is probably why you're having the success that you're having. Tell me, in Tucson, the thing that is helping you out the most. What's the thing that Tucson has that is just really good for your business? And as someone, even as a call to action to how can our listening audience help you be more successful? What's something that you're challenged with in Tucson as far as the ecosystem goes? A thumbs up and a thumbs down.
A thumbs up and a thumbs down. What Tucson does great is they support local. Like honestly, it's they really do support local, and it's so fun. It's like I always tell everyone we want to be a Portland, but we're not. We don't have if any restaurant people out there, whomever's in the food world, they always disagree with me on this. We're not a Portland, we're not an Austin yet, we're not even a Scottsdale. Via the food scene, we're getting pretty good at it, I think, but I don't think we can put the gloves on with any of those cities that have that are written up in Eater all the time, Eater.com all the time. And but Tucson does supports local, and I love that. Thumbs down. I don't know. I have
Yeah.
no clue. I mean, thumbs down.
I mean, I guess
I
I guess
guess.
my question, and this isn't have to be a diss or anything on
Yeah, yeah,
Tucson.
yeah.
Just what's something difficult about being a business owner in Tucson, and maybe I'll just as an example, when I was working with a small business in town, summer was hard.
Yo, yeah,
Summer could be a 20, 30, 40% decrease in revenue
yeah,
because 40% of our population leaves, and I just I can't over call to action. If you are a local and you're in Tucson,
yeah.
support these local businesses
During the
because
summer. Yeah,
well,
during the
support these
summer, of
businesses
course.
all
Yeah,
through the year. Support them all through the year.
yeah, 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 yeah,
When the population, blooms, it's a little bit easier, a little bit
yeah.
more margin. But during the summer, you can't just take for granted the fact that local businesses need local patrons.
Yeah, June through September here for sure.
Yeah.
That's honestly that's what everyone talks about, and a lot of people say, honestly, a lot of the restaurants are always like, oh, May through December, or it's no, I think it's June through September. You start seeing traffic once October comes around, especially if the East Coast is getting super cold fast. You get to see that traffic real fast, and up at Commoner, we get to see that. You talk about the 30, 40 dips. Commoner is a monster during season, and then during summer,
Hmm.
we actually kind of like it because we get to see all the regulars. We get to see all the locals, and we actually take summer. We get excited for summer because we get to reconnect and
Hmm.
really get to talk to everyone that we didn't get to see as much during season because we're just
Oh,
crazy busy. They're like, all right, what did we do great? What did we do not so great? And you think, yeah, I'm not making this up. We honestly will like invite big local VIPs and say, what did we do?
that's cool.
That brought you in here even during when we were busy, and like we retrain all our staff, we retest all the staff, we test all the time, but we really take the time to reconnect and make sure our standards are up there, because restaurants are an emotional decision. I think any local, you go spend your money at a restaurant, like you're taking your hard-earned money and spending it, it's disposable income restaurants, it's I guess you can say, like, if a recession hits, restaurants are the first ones to say, I'm staying in and eating, it's way cheaper, and it's so you want to make sure that, like, man, like, even if something did happen, like, how can we stay great during the slow times and the busy times so you're not thinking of us if something did happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of organizations take a strategic review during the summer.
You got to.
And I hear, I mean, even nonprofits, businesses will say this is the time where we can reconnect with our community and make sure our P's and Q's are straight.
Yeah.
Even though the margins are a little bit less, you get more time to focus on the strategy. That's what I hear you saying.
Yeah, and honestly, during summer, most restaurants are in the. I'm speaking. Most of them just try to break even, or at least lose just a little bit of money, because you see restaurants packed out the door. Those margins are getting smaller and smaller, with rising food cost, and you can say the labor costs. When the labor thing hit, I didn't really. I mean, we had to give one person a raise in our company. It was a dishwasher, and honestly, that's the hardest position. We always take care of the back of the house. So the margins are getting smaller in there. So if they can ride that summer out and even just not lose a dash of money, a little bit of money, then they're set because season's coming around, and there you go. But so take that time and really
Yeah.
focus on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't get angry about it.
No, I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
No, that's good. So let's wrap up this way. Prep and Pastry, 2660 North Campbell Avenue, just opened up. I'm with Nate Aries, the entrepreneur and restaurateur behind Prep and Pastry. What would you like listeners to know? What would be your encouragement to come on in? We have more parking spots, slower waiting, or
Yeah.
less waiting time.
Yeah.
What do you want us to know in closing here?
Honestly, I'll take a plug into the other spots, because
Sure.
Prep's always getting the recognition. Commoner shut down for the summer for a full remodel. We are up there on Sunrise and Kolb, and we just wanted to step our game up. It's just time for our company to really get our brand in line of what we think we can be. And we shut down for the whole summer to remodel, so look for that to open back up early September.
Okay.
And then August Roads Market, which is our in the
Yeah.
old Prep and Pastry location. It's going to be our catering hub, our
Okay.
bakery, walk up fast casual sandwich salad soup. Do a half salad, half soup, or a half salad and half sandwich, or whatever. Imagine a Beyond Bread done our style, and we got the East Side Grants, which if that Campbell location's crazy during college days, head out to the East Side. It's still crazy on the weekends, but not Monday through Friday. You can sneak in and sneak out pretty fast over there, So yeah, we'll take the limelight away from the new prep. They get enough of it. So
Okay. Hey, I'm here for you
Yeah,
guys, man.
I appreciate
whatever
it.
you want, whatever you
Yeah.
want to promote. Like I said, I was really grateful to be at the soft opening of the new Prep and Pastry on 2660 North Campbell, and I just thought, man, if I can do anything to promote it, I'd like to be a part of that.
I appreciate
but
that.
but anything that we can do to support your businesses now as a growing restaurateur and entrepreneur, we got your back.
Thank you.
And Tucson have Nate Ayres' back because this guy's doing great things, and really excited. And hopefully, as a community, we can support you this summer and into the fall. And
Yeah.
and as you're having a really kind of consolidated growth period,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
hope it also settles down a little bit for you too.
It's
as well,
going to settle
personally.
down, and we're going to jet it out of this, out of
Awesome.
here to somewhere cooler. It's
There
going to
we
be
go.
nice before my wife kills me. So
Yeah, well, it's a season. Hang
Yeah,
in
yeah,
there.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
going to be good
Yeah.
long term. Nate, thank you so much
I
for
appreciate
your
it.
time
Thank you
this
so much
morning.
for having me on.
And let's do this again soon.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Tucson, that takes us to our next break as we head towards the final segment of our hour. We're going to say adios to Nate Ayres here. We're going to do a segment together. And then the 11 o'clock hour, Amber Smith from the Tucson Metro Chamber of Commerce and I are going to do a deep dive on the Tucson Modern Streetcar. So get those questions and thoughts flowing. 790-2040. You're on 1030 The Voice. Trusted local news and talk. We'll be right back.